who would proposition me as the entertainer.
Yeah.
But of course, that's just another 14-year-old boy
Yeah,
pretending to be
yeah,
a girl. And so we would have like fake lesbian, but neither of us knew what lesbians do. So it's like, yeah, and then I kiss your butt. Yeah, then I kiss your butt.
Yeah.
And then they would give me 200,000 galactic credits, and I would go
man.
buy a speeder for my for my tradesman.
Yeah. I don't want to pack boots and a hat and all that.
Yeah, I feel like cowboy hat. I think that's looking better. I feel like cowboy hat is hard to like drive with, depending on the size of your car.
Yeah. Well, it's I'll throw it in the back seat.
Yeah. There we go.
My old car, I used to be able to drive with my Subaru because I could take the headrest off, and so I could drive with the hat on.
That's fashionable. That's a
Yeah.
good look. Hello. Welcome to the Bubble Boy podcast. George, get in here a little bit. Get in here a little bit.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
That's George.
Oh, are you handing me one of these?
Yeah, I'm giving
What
you a
is
soda,
this?
baby. It's a triple
Yeah.
cola.
Nice.
I'll tell you why in a second. Welcome to the Bubble Boy. This is the second episode. We're off-site. We're at the public house at the Alexander, about to do the Pikes Punks comedy show. Why are we here, George? Why are we here, not at my house?
Because I asked if it was closer to Whataburger or not.
It is closer. It's 0.4 miles from Whataburger.
That's the only reason I take show in the spring. So I was like, I could get Whataburger.
We got In and Out. We got Shake Shack. We got Whataburger. What is your favorite fast food restaurant?
Whataburger is easily the best.
Yeah?
I mean, I worked it for 2 years. So
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Did you move up the corporate ladder?
No, not at all.
Okay.
They switched our GMs and our managers, and the new manager I did not like. And so when I showed up one day, I pulled into the parking lot and saw the new manager's car instead of my favorite manager, and I was like, nah, and I drove home. And I was done.
I've never, like, quit a job. I've always had something else lined up. I give my 2 weeks notice. I hear people all the time who are like, yeah, and then I blew out of that place because my manager sucked. I'm like, what are you doing now? And they're like, nothing.
I was working
doing nothing.
I was working 2 jobs at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was working at a Rudy's, which they have one here, which is why I also come down in the Springs.
If we have nothing else going for us.
Yeah, it's definitely
We
the
got
food.
great chains.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was going to quit Whataburger, and my manager was like, I was like, look, I'm going to quit because I got this other job, but I'm mainly at night. I start at 3 or 4. I was like, I could stay and help during the lunch rush. And she's like, that's perfect. And then the new manager was like, you can't do that. And I was like, I could do whatever the heck I want. This is my schedule. What do you mean I can't do that?
I'll burn this fucking place to the ground.
I will set it on fire. Like Anthony Anderson and Harold and Kumar Goes to White Castle. When he starts freaking out, let's burn this motherfucker down.
I've only ever watched. There's certain movies I've only ever watched the Comedy Central, like, edited for TV versions.
Oh, yeah.
Harold and Kumar, Van Wilder. I watched a bunch of Van Wilder, and then I was like, oh, I can't wait. And then I saw it at Blockbuster. I'm like, I love Ryan Reynolds. And then I watched the actual Van Wilder. I'm like, this is not appropriate for me. This is bad stuff.
Movies cut for TV. There's 2 options. You go Comedy Central, the safe route, and it's like they cut out all the good stuff, and you're like, oh man, this does not do the movie justice. And then you go to FX. Dude, FX could play. You could go in the middle of any movie. Like, this is the most interesting movie I've ever seen. Like, you're just like halfway through Armageddon, and you're like, I'm invested. Like all like the mid 2000s action movies, they just like FX just knows how to draw you in with it.
You look like half the cast of the shows on FX right now. There's a lot of you on FX.
Yeah, there is a lot of me on FX.
So, George, I got you. This is a Bubble Boy podcast. We got soda pops. I got you a triple cola.
Nice.
When I was at the soda shop and I was just looking at beverages, this one just I saw it. You got to drink it with vim and vigor. It made me think of you. I think so. I think we met the first time at Funny Final Four when we were on the losers team.
Yeah.
That no one cares about his team.
Yeah. It was the team Cinderella where Roger was like, man, these guys should have been picked by somebody. So
everyone else thought we were bad.
Yeah.
But I saw you at the Comedy Works open mic before that, and just with like the 4 minutes you had, I was like, oh, he's one of my new favorites. Dude, not that you're a one-liner comic by any means, but every line you said was a joke. Like, you would tell a story, and every sentence of your story was its own joke. I'd never seen someone get that many big laughs in that short of a time before.
Yeah.
So triple cola made me think about you, because
Nice.
you got triple joke
Heck
count,
yeah.
baby.
Heck yeah. The reason it's like that is because I started off, I didn't know how to write jokes, which nobody knows how. And so I would just tell stories, and then my buddy was like, oh, wait. Is it a twist?
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
twist.
man,
Don't
I'm
make me
weak.
look stronger
Yeah,
than
I
you.
know.
Don't let me look stronger than you. There
Oh,
it
nice.
is. There it is.
Yeah, and so I didn't know how to write jokes. And my buddy was like, oh, you got to actually write stuff down. I was like, oh, okay. And then,
You got to write the
yeah,
shit.
my favorite comics at the time were like Mitch Hedberg and Dimitri Martin. So a lot of my stuff was one-linery. And then I just started expanding bits out.
I think that's nice. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
That's a lot of. I mean, people either go full straight on like Mitch Hedberg or like Anthony Jeselnik, where they're trying to do like set up punchline, and it's like, and then it turned out I killed my wife, and it was like
Yeah.
They do a lot of that, or it's a story that's terrible and ends up
Yeah.
being you had to be there.
Yeah.
Like you go one of two
Yeah.
ways.
It's almost like best man speeches at weddings, where it's like they either really know how to draw in the crowd, or it's just a lot of, oh, one time me and so were doing this.
We were
you
hanging
just
out.
had to be there. You know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. And it's just like rambling.
My best man, I had two best man speeches because my wife had two women of honor,
Of
or
course.
maids of honor, because she can't pick. 'Cause
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
a coward.
Yeah. Of course not.
No, you pick one.
Yeah.
You pit them against each other if you can't.
Yeah.
But I had two what are they, groomsmen,
Yeah,
best
best
men.
man.
And my brother was one of them, and he's not a public speaker
Yeah.
at all. And he had like a 3x5 note card that was like, I love you very much. You're my best friend. Lydia, you're great. Please take care of him. And I was like, I'm going to cry. He's so beautiful, my big brother. My other best man, name's Jacob. Love you, buddy. He's been my best friend since second grade. Very funny. Great writer. He's a lawyer now.
Nice.
So he's like, public speaking's not a big deal for
Yeah.
him. And dude, right before he walked up, I was so excited to hear his best man speech. He patted me on the back, and he's like, I'm going to wing it. I'm like, don't wing it. Don't riff
Yeah.
the best man speech.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
he ended up doing like well, so, that's Russell. It's like, dude, you're blowing
Yeah.
it. You're blowing it. There was nothing funny about it. It was
At-
terrible.
At one of my good friends' weddings, I was not the best man, which kind of made me mad because I planned the bachelor party and I did everything the
Oh, you
best
did
man
all
did.
the
Yeah,
work?
I did all the work, and his brother just swoops in, and is like, I'm the best man. He did a best man speech, not great.
Good.
I just did a regular speech, crushed.
Of course you did.
I was like, this is gonna be, and it was a half wing, half like I knew the points I wanted to say. We'll fill it in from there, which is how I do stand up actually. But yeah, I crushed. I got great laughs. Ended with a really good. Gave him a hug, and it was awesome.
I did my brother's best man speech, and his wife is just perpetually sick. She's in the hospital all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Is a grim woman. She's not long for this world. I love her terribly, but she's not going to make it to 30. So I'm doing her best man speech, and in the best man speech, I'm talking about like she's gonna die,
Yeah.
she's gonna pass away, 1 foot in the grave already. Would you be shocked to hear that her friends and family not thrilled? It was not the best speech. I thought it was gonna kill. Everybody loves to hear about, their niece or their daughter passing away gruesomely.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be hilarious. But they invited 250 people. She
too big of a
invited,
wedding.
too big. She invited 225 people.
Yeah.
My brother invited 15 people.
Oh my goodness.
So the ratio was off. There wasn't enough of on our side
yeah.
to win the other side
yeah,
over.
yeah.
It was something to keep in mind for best man speeches. Make sure the ratio's on. You got to have enough people on your team to win the other side over.
One of the best jokes I heard about somebody giving a best man speech was his brother got married the second time, and so the best man started the speech off with, "Good to see everyone back again."
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good opener. See, that's one where it's either everyone's going to love it, everyone's going to laugh, everyone's
Yeah.
going to cry, we're all going to high five and do
Yeah.
the worm, or it's now half the people here are pissed at you.
Yeah.
They are
Yeah.
so mad at you, and now you just kind of have to slink over and get your chicken
Yeah.
or beef, and everyone's mad dogging you the whole
Which,
time.
Don't give me a beef option because it's always flimsy. It's
Yeah.
always like the tiniest steak.
It's always skirt.
yeah.
It's always a skirt
Well, like,
steak.
skirt steak could be good, but even it's just like a tiny square.
They cut it with the grain.
Yeah,
That's the
they
problem.
yeah,
They give it to
exactly.
you chewy.
Yeah, yeah. The beef option's never worth it. It's like I get you want to please some people, but it's not like if I went to a restaurant and ordered that, I'd be pissed.
And it's always chicken options. It's never just like roasted chicken. It's
Yeah.
always chicken that you haven't seen since like the 80s, where it's like chicken cordon bleu.
Yeah,
Or it's like
yeah.
no one eats chicken cordon bleu
yeah,
ever.
Who wants ham and chicken? That's gross.
No
Yeah.
one's ever done it until weddings. That's the only
Yeah.
place they serve it.
Yeah, I'm not married, but my ideal wedding is literally like I'm gonna invite people to a party and be like, "Oh, dress what you think is formal," and then surprise getting married.
You're gonna. So it's not like we're having a wedding.
Yeah.
That's also like a party. We're
Yeah.
It is. You're springing a wedding on them.
There's no pressure. No pressure for gifts. No pressure to dress nice. You know.
Yeah, is that nice?
I
Would you?
think-
Depending on, I guess it depends on who would be there. Because if it was like your parents, pretty sure they're gonna be pissed.
Well, my dad's dead, so
Well-
my mom's in and out of the hospital. She's not gonna make it.
She's a great woman as
well.
well.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, because I just think it takes all the pressure off being a guest. You know,
Sure.
women have to like, oh, if they know it's a wedding, women stress about like, I gotta find the dress, I gotta find something that's appropriate, and guys are like, guys don't know how to dress anyways.
No.
You know, like I grew up in South Texas, so like guys' night of going out and looking good is wearing a fly fishing shirt,
Dude.
because it has buttons.
For my wedding, I was like, what does Hitman wear? Like whatever suit. Like
yeah.
I not that I looked anything like
Yeah,
Hitman, but I didn't want a tuxedo. I'm like, I just want black suit.
Yeah.
I just want black suit. It's default. It's
Yeah.
easy. And then looking back, and I'm like, I should have done something. I should have done something
Yeah.
at all. It's a momentous day. My wife got her like grandma to hand knit her
Oh, gee, yeah.
like
yeah.
a dress, and it was like, I'm like, I should have worn like a cool hat
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something. I should have
Yeah.
done something, Keller.
My buddy that lives down here, he got this rust orange suit Well, he ordered it and then had to get it tailored.
So,
And
like
then he-
Dumb and Dumber orange suit?
No. It was like a like a rustic like fall. It was a good.
Oh, like
orange.
brownie
Yeah,
orange.
brownie
Oh,
orange.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That's cool.
And then so the grooms and all had to get the matching pants. Well, apparently first of all, the pants were like $99. He got the full suit. We each had to order the pants, and he's like, you could wear them again. I've not worn them once because I'm like, they're just not. You don't know what do you wear with rust orange? Well, anyways, the suit that he got, I originally picked, but he sent us like it was like a whole thing. Like, oh, you put the suit in your cart, and then you could add the option for an extra set of pants, and it's $50 cheaper than buying the pants by themselves.
Okay.
And I was like, cool, but it's still $90-something.
Yeah.
You know, and then apparently I got the wrong orange, so I was
Of
like,
course.
I was like a shade off. But I was
Dude,
like,
for my wedding, it was like my wife made everyone their own tie. So like,
Oh, wow.
don't buy a tie. Have a white shirt. Everyone has a white shirt.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
don't care which. Have I think it was like a black vest.
yeah.
Even if you're buying it for this, you'll always need a black vest, and like wear dark pants, like black or
Yeah.
gray or something. Like we tried to keep it so cheap
No
for
jacket
everybody.
for
No
that?
jacket.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Because the first wedding I was ever a groomsman in, it was like $350, and I was like 20.
Yeah.
Like I don't have $350 to blow on a suit
Yeah.
that I'm gonna grow out of because I'm still a little boy.
I mean, everybody just goes to Men's Warehouse. You could just rent a suit
That's
for
true.
like $90. But even then, like you could go to Walmart and get a $20 pair of slacks.
Yeah, the argument was like, well, either you rent it for $150
Yeah.
or for $200 more, because then you're gonna have to rent it $150 every time. So
Yeah.
you might as well just buy it this time.
Yeah.
But even then, I like ripped the pants immediately. I
Oh,
never got
man.
it fixed. I
Yeah.
accidentally put the suit jacket in the washing machine, so that's wrong. So I've
Oh,
never
my
worn it
goodness.
since I blew it. I just assumed if they're clothes that you can put them in the washing
Yeah,
machine.
yeah.
No one told me clothes can't go in a washing machine.
No,
It's
certain
garbage.
thing. I mean, I don't think I've ever owned anything that can't go on. Everything I've owned, I'm like, it's just going in the washer, whether it needs to or not, and it's been fine.
The most expensive.
And I've never separated colors either.
No, my wife we have like a little thing where it's like it's 3 bins in one, and one's white and one's colors and one's darks. And when she's around, I make sure whites, colors, and darks.
Yeah.
But if she's not around, they all go in
Yeah.
all the time. I've never had a problem.
Yeah.
I've never had colors leak onto something.
There's
they all
always
look fine.
There's always that gag in movies and TV shows where it's like
Shirt comes out pink.
shirt comes out pink. I'm just like, that's never happened to me.
Yeah, never once.
Like I'm like, it's been fine so far, and
It's
I'm gonna
a
keep
myth.
doing it. Yeah.
I don't know who's making money off of this, but this is a myth perpetuated by someone so they can make money.
It's like that episode of Simpsons when Homer shows up to work and he has like a pink shirt, but it's like a sea of just nuclear factory workers, and they're all wearing white shirts, which nobody ever wears white shirts in that show except for Homer. And you just see Homer in the pink shirt because he accidentally messed up laundry.
That show did a lot of damage for nuclear powers PR.
Yeah.
This is a pro-nuclear podcast, and I don't care if George is a part of it or not. We're pro-nuclear power.
Yeah, no, nuclear power is great.
It's clean.
Minus
it's
Pripyat,
efficient.
but you know.
Minus what?
Pripyat, isn't that the place that
blew up?
Yeah, yeah.
I think it was Chernobyl.
Oh yeah, Pripyat I think is in Call of Duty 4. It's a fake city.
I love nuclear power, except for Nuketown. That place got real bad real quick. You ever seen Nuketown?
Yeah. Speaking of which, this reminds me of Nuka-Cola from Call of Duty Zombies.
Yeah.
It has a very
it's got a
old school vibe. Like
vim and vigor.
But I was wondering whether, like, since I see like these old school sodas, it's like 1921. It's like, how have y'all not expanded?
I don't know. Are you drinking a lot of independent sodas?
No.
That's why they're not expanding, because of people like you.
I don't drink a lot of professional name brand soda. Anyways.
Are you not a big soda guy?
No. I'm a sweet tea lemonade kind of guy. Yeah.
What is? Do you have a favorite soda? This isn't necessarily a soda-based podcast, but while we're on the topic,
a favorite soda, dude. Okay, H-E-B in Texas, the off-brand sodas, the grape, the strawberry, the pineapple, just because we grew up having those for parties because they were cheap. Best sodas in the world.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't heard of those ones.
Yeah. No, it's H-E-B's the grocery store in Texas.
Really?
It's South.
Okay.
Dude, it's
and
the
they
best
have their
grocery
own.
store.
Oh, it's like RC Cola or Kmart Cola or whatever.
RC Cola I thought was good.
I'm just saying it's a brand from the store.
Yeah, brand from the store. Yeah,
gotcha.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, but like H-E-B, like literally, like it's expanded. Like they do more for hurricane relief during hurricane season than like the federal government does.
Really?
It's insane. And like all their people like buy the H-E-B brand Hill Country Fair stuff over name brand a lot more. It's just that good.
Interesting. I do love, there's certain stores that have that weird, like no one has loyalty to Walmart. No one has loyalty to Walgreens or Safeway or any of those kinds of things.
But Texas?
But there's like that. There's like the Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
People love Come and Go here in the Springs.
Oh, do they really? I didn't
People
know
love
Come and Go was I thought it was just like a punchline.
It's a loyalty thing. But there's certain like little. There's one gas station that sells sandwiches specifically. Oh, and there's in Hawaii, they have their own CVS, and it's called. Put it on the screen, me later. What's it called? But they have their own CVS that's like special to them. It's I'll go to this convenience store over any other place in the world. And what do you got to do?
Have good quality. I don't know. Like
save people during a disaster,
exactly.
I guess, is a big part of it. I guess that gets a lot of brand loyalty.
With like H-E-B, Buc-ee's, they're all like Texas-born stuff, and so Texas people are just like loyal to Texas.
You know what I mean? A Texas thing too.
Yeah. It started just like the big one is in New Braunfels, like right outside San Antonio, and it's just massive. And so it's like it's Texas-born, and it's like high quality. You know, they make everything there. They have brisket. It's just like
what is that with the brisket? And they're always yelling about it.
Oh
they're
yeah,
yelling about the brisket.
Well, I think it's when it's fresh. I don't know. I haven't been there in years, but
always yelling about the brisket.
I mean, we're loyal about we're happy about our barbecue. You know what I mean? Like people like want to say, oh, you know, North Carolina barbecue, Kansas City garbage. Compared to, I know I commented on a post recently that said it's apples to oranges, but Texas barbecue is like.
It's not really apples to oranges though, because brisket's brisket.
Yeah, well,
chicken's chicken.
I think like comparing like Texas style to like the Carolinas, where it's like pulled pork and pork base, and it's like a pulled pork in North Carolina is going to be the best version of pulled pork, and like you're not going to get a brisket in North Carolina that's as good as a Texas style brisket.
Sure.
You know,
But you can still compare brisket.
Yeah.
You can still be like, that's dry ass brisket.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not super apples to oranges. There was they're always yelling about the brisket at Buc-ee's. I had a buddy who worked at a place called Who Hot. You know Who Hot?
Oh, it's a Asian spot, correct?
Yeah, it's like a Mongolian grill.
Yeah.
But they do like, you walk around and you pick what you want in a bowl, and it's all frozen, and they
you pick everything out and then they fry it for you.
Yeah, but every time you tip, it's like they gotta go how hot, and then everyone's gotta go who hot.
Oh man.
And that I would shoot myself so fast. Any place where you have to yell, when it's like a tip or like server, and it's at someone's birthday party, and you gotta go sing.
Yeah,
I could never do it.
We had when I worked at Rudy's in Texas, our manager would all do their own thing, but one manager would always do. He'd be like ziggy zaggy, and everybody would be like oi oi oi, and I hated it. But
is that a rugby thing?
No idea what it is, but he would say it, and everybody would get into it. And then one guy would be like uptown, and we would be like funk you up. But I hated it because it's like I'd be like in the middle of like, oh, how much more brisket do you want? I'm like oi oi oi, like trying to like.
It reminds me, my wife was like she was the director of an after-school program, and they hauled the things that they would say to get the kids' attention, where they go like, how cold is it? And all the kids would go, ice cold. And they're like, okay, Derek threw up on the slide or whatever. Like, that's what it makes me think of every time. It's like, I'm a baby. You have to get my little stupid baby attention.
Yeah, and like no customer's ever impressed by it.
No one's ever been like, I mean, the problem is probably people are. So many people are so dumb. Probably when they see them go fresh brisket, everyone's like, yeah, the brisket's fresh.
I guess it's like it's one of those things where it's like you've heard about it, so you're like, I want to go see it now to see if it's true. You know,
if the legends are true, do they talk about the brisket?
Yeah.
I can't. I go to church. I don't sing in church. I don't put my hands up in church. I don't do anything where just in case they're trying to brainwash me. I'm always 1 foot out the door on church just to be safe.
Yeah.
That kind of thing where it's like, do you want to go see the guy talk about brisket? Like, you've been somehow someone has too much influence over your brain.
Yeah.
And now you think the guy talking, or when they go, how hot, who hot, and you get endorphins from that.
Yeah.
You've let too many people put their fingers in your brain.
Yeah.
You gotta get some independence back.
I can't. My singing voice was so bad that back in my church days, I'm just worshiping my own way, man. I'm standing here, and my arms would get tired, and I would never want to be like,
tired.
I'm feeling the spirit.
You're feeling the burn in
and
your
then,
shoulder.
Yeah,
from
and then I'm
keeping
just
it up
like,
too long.
I'm like, man, I was like, I don't want to look like a heathen if I put my arms down, you know.
I never bought it. When I see when I was in youth group as a kid, when I would see
Cry Night.
Dude, Cry Night is brainwashing. Cry Night is brainwashing. I hate it. There are so many like girls who like, we're best friends and we're never gonna fight again. And I love you and I love Christ, and they go and like weep at the altar. It's like, and then 6 months later, you're selling OxyContin. It is like brainwashing. They really get you.
Yeah.
And from a childhood, I've never bought in all the way.
I didn't go as a kid, but like my senior year is when I started going to church with my best friends, which is only really why I went, you know. And then I went to youth group like that right when I graduated, and then I did like a couple like different, like there was like one actual church camp, and then there was like a bunch of other different events, and like I did cry on Cry Night, but it felt so they got me.
They got you, George.
But to be fair, I was already saved at that point, so it's not like I wasn't coming up to the altar, you know what I mean, and being like, I want to give my life to Christ. I was just feeling the spirit. But I just remember they were having like an offering, and I'm just like a mess. And then the guy next to me, he's like a pastor's kid, and he just like was not like, he was going just because his dad like wanted him to go, and he was like older, he got out of like the military and stuff, and I was like, and he's like trying to give me the bucket to put money in. I'm just like, dude, I was like, pass it to somebody else, man.
That's perfect time for donations. Is when you're mentally, emotionally in distress. It's like, also $55 isn't that when it comes to your eternal salvation? Not so crazy, is it?
I worked at that camp for like 2 summers in a row, and that was more fun than because you could see all like the different people come in and stuff. And I remember they have like all the old youth group stuff, like, you know, boys are red, girls are blue, don't make purple. I ran this thing called bazooka ball, and it was like modified paintball guns that shot out like soft little balls, and they would play like capture the flag and stuff. Nobody ever came because it was like $4, and like there'd be like one kid come like, I want to play. I'm like, bro, it's just you. Like, I can't really.
I mean, I'll shoot you with a paintball gun if you really want me to.
Yeah, and I was standing by the shed, just like waiting around. I saw this, and there was like next to this one of the dormitories, and I saw this guy and this girl behind, and she was like leaning against the wall, and I saw the guy like go in and kiss her, and I was like, hey, get over here. And they're like all scared. They're like, oh, we're sorry. I'm like, dude, I don't care. I'm not your counselor. I'm like, look, there's better spots, man. Go over here.
Tag me in.
Yeah, I was like, I was like, dude, go over there. I was like, you won't get caught over there. They're like, oh, okay.
As long as you brought enough to share with the class. If you know
Yeah.
what I mean. Dude, I went to Eagle Lake Camp.
Is that out here?
Yeah, I mean it's a Springs-based thing, I think, but it's out somewhere in like Woodland Park, or I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I went to Eagle Lake Camp for a long time, and by a long time I mean I think like 3 years. But they would make you at the end. One of the last days was like there's like a dance night. There's like a prom night.
Yeah.
And so you have a sister cabin because there's boys' cabins and girls' cabins. So you go to your sister cabin and you each ask one of the girls out to take to the prom dance night with you, kind of thing.
That would have never worked at our camps.
I was, both too uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I was just so scared and in my shell.
Nothing's worse than like telling you like, oh, you know, mixing with girls is bad, sex is bad, kissing is bad.
Also.
And then here you go.
Yeah.
Get together now.
We're going to put a gun to your head. You better
Yeah.
ask one of these girls out. And I was so scared to do it that I was like, no, dancing, like going on because you had to like dress up, you had to bring nice clothes, so you could ask a girl on a date, and then you'd go on a date, you'd have dinner together, and then you would in like the mess hall, and then you'd go to dance. And I was so scared that I was like, no, that's gay. It's like talking to a girl, asking her to a date, dressing nice and dancing with her is gay.
Yeah.
I won't do it.
Yeah.
So I just refused, and like, Russell, ask any of the girls, and I never did it. And so I always ended up with then the girl who no one wanted to ask.
Yeah.
So it was just, she's pissed because no one asked
Yeah.
her. I'm pissed because now I'm with the ugly one.
Yeah.
No way. And so it was just us sitting quietly eating whatever Camp Eagle Lake chicken cordon bleu, which is like they took deli sliced ham and put it in a chicken nugget and poured cream sauce on it. And like, this is fancy now. It was just a miserable, terrible experience.
Man.
I really, truly hated it.
Yeah.
I hated summer camp, and I think I went to Eagle Lake for 3 years, and I think I went to like a YMCA camp for 2 years. I hated summer camp every time.
Yeah.
But there was always the hope of like, but what if I get to kiss a girl behind a cabin? And then anytime a girl would talk to me, I'm like, it's gay to be vulnerable. And then I would go throw rocks or something.
There was at this place, it was called Alta Frio, and whenever I went as camper, you know, there's this like bell in the middle of it, and there was rumors of a place, or not a place, but there was like a challenge,
whispers,
right? So the challenge was like, because they had like the counselors on golf carts roaming around at night trying to catch people sneaking out. So there was like one where if like you got a rock, rang the bell, and ran to the cabin without getting caught, you're like, oh heck yeah, you know, it's super cool. We tried getting the pastor's kid to do it, but he wouldn't do it. But then there was another one that I heard that my buddy Daniel, who was a deviant at the time, was like, yeah, they called it church camp marriage, where you and a girl sneak out, bang, ring the bell with a rock, and run out and get without getting caught.
You guys went to a way cooler Christian camp than I did.
I don't think anybody ever did it, but everybody's like, what if you did? And it's like, no one here is going to do it. Yeah.
We had like memorize a Bible verse the fastest, and you get 10 fake dollar points for the end of the market. You're like, what if you bang a girl in front of the counselors?
Yeah. So nobody ever did it, but everybody's like, what if, man?
That's nuts. I do remember summer camp one time, there was like a relay race. And at each point in the relay race, there's an obstacle course, and whoever wins, nothing happens, but you get to say you won, and you get to hold on to that as you go back to school. And then you're like, I know I'm lame in school, but at summer camp, I won the obstacle course. So our cabin was winning, and then it got to me, and then I had to run my portion.
Yeah.
And then we were losing. I was just so winded. I couldn't. I loved anything more than running.
Yeah.
I would do anything. I would give anything in the world to never have to run again.
Yeah.
I hated it. So we were winning. It gets to the running portion. They're screaming at me because I'm running so slow. And then you have to run to, and my station was eat a lemon. You got to eat a lemon with the rind on.
Youth group games are weird.
Right.
We can't never just have a normal race.
Yeah.
It's always after, like, here, do something
It's always
gross.
like run here, and then whoever finishes last has to eat the biscuit.
Yeah.
So my thing was eat a lemon, and I took 2 bites out of it. I'm like, I don't like this. I don't want to do it. And I was like, Russell, no, it's part of the camaraderie. I'm like, I've never once bought into the camaraderie.
Yeah.
You bullied me into, like, as soon as I felt one bit of adversity, I immediately distanced myself from the group. I'm like, nope, my parents are picking me up tomorrow anyways. You eat the lemon if you care so fucking much. It was. I did not make a lot of friends in summer camp. I didn't like talking to girls, and all the guys hated me. I was a real cool, best of both worlds.
Yeah, I was like kind of. I'm gonna say cool, but I was like. I play music for the youth group, so heck yeah. But our youth pastor,
What'd
Mark,
you play?
Bass.
Oh,
yeah,
of course you're a bass guy.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Our youth pastor, Mark, every year for like would always like try to poach like the basketball team guys for our high school. They're like, because he wanted to win the basketball tournament every year. He was like, he's like, I need to get Devin in. I need to get all these guys in. I don't even know if he cared about them getting saved or going to. I think he just wanted to win the basketball tournament so bad.
Dude, if that's not the tagline for Christianity in the last 40 years, I think you just nailed it. I don't care about if you get saved, but I got to get some points on the board here, big guy.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm still friends with him. I might have to message him and my buddy Dan and be like, hey, did you really care? Did you just want to win?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We for Thanksgiving, some comics in the Springs were like, hey, let's all go to the park and like play football together on Thanksgiving morning. I got roped into it. I have not played football since 8th grade.
Oof.
I'm like, sure, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
It'll be wacky. And I'm like, it's going to be all comics. So it's going to be like, oh, and then he hops on my shoulders and he throws the football.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to pull a lot of shenanigans. It's going to be wacky. It's going to be a hoot and a holler. So I pulled up, and there's like 6 comics, and then like 12 guys who are just like a friend of a friend.
Oh, man.
All showed up to play football.
Yeah.
And they got gloves. They got cleats. They got headbands. They have Under Armour on.
Yeah.
They've got like Powerade.
Yeah, you're like in jorts.
I was
Vans,
actively drinking hot chocolate when they showed up. I was in pajama pants drinking hot cocoa when these athletes showed up. So then they picked like team captains and they went through and they're picking each one of us. And in my head I'm like, great, tall, overweight white guy, definitely getting picked last. Got picked second to last, not too bad. Charlie McMullen, eat it. But it was me and Jason Alexander, JJ. Me and him were on one team with like 8 black guys.
Nice.
Who just showed up out of the blue.
Yeah.
And the other team was all the comics and like 2 athletes.
Nice.
So I'm like, of course we're going to win.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Wait, were any of the comics athletic? Who showed up?
Thad B.
Okay.
Cameron McKenzie. Taheem Davis. Who else? He was on our team. There was a couple. Who else? I know Jason, who's on my team, who like played football.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of anyone who was good.
Yeah.
So if I missed you, I apologize. But I'm trying to think of the people who were good at football.
The only person I could think that would be good at football down in the Springs is Brian Sullivan.
Yeah, Brian is too good for us now.
Yeah.
So he doesn't show up to anything. And then a bunch of people just ended up not being able to show up for whatever reason. But like,
they all pulled up and saw all the black dudes waiting.
And they just kind of
they're like, nah, I'm all right.
And I'm not even saying that as like oh no, we had all the black guys.
Yeah.
Like it was just a van full of them pulled up. They were all ready to play football, and they took it very seriously. And so we ended up destroying the other team.
Nice, yeah.
It was close. I'll be honest, it was close. But I don't know. I played football in 8th grade.
Yeah.
I never learned how to play football. I still don't know how to play.
I was a guard, and they tried giving me plays. I'm just going to stop the guy in front of me. Like, what else am I supposed to do?
That's kind of what I did. I was like, push that guy.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But everyone was like, motion, motion, motion. They'd look at me, and I go, I don't know what that is. Like, hey, make sure you get we're gonna go zone. I'm like, I don't know what any of this means. So there's football already. Football, I don't understand how to play. But then it was like 2-hand touch rules for football. So it's like you're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to do that. I kept getting like real frustrated, not by winning or losing, just by the inability to play football. Because like passing interference. Why? Because you didn't let him catch the ball. Like, right. I thought that was the whole point, is I don't want him to catch the ball. And they're like, but you can't touch him. Right, but I don't want him to catch the ball. And they're like, that's interference. I'm like, then what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
There was
it's either you let the guy catch it or you intercept it by some miracle.
Right.
Those are the only options.
I can't. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, so I'm gonna go. No one's getting the quarterback. Well, that's a big part of football. Let me go get the quarterback. So I went and I tried to touch him. Like, no, you got to count to 5 Mississippi before you're allowed to come touch me. Okay, dude. And then at one point, it's like block. So I'm trying to block this guy, and he tried to get around me. So I kind of put my arm around him so he couldn't get around me. And like, that's holding. You're not allowed to do that. I'm like, then how am I supposed to stop you if you get to the left or right of me? What am I supposed to do other than put my arm out? I can't hit you. I can't grab you. I don't talk trash during sports. I've never played the last time I played a group team sport was 8th grade football. I hate it because people take it too seriously. They get too mad at something that's not real. I started getting real upset and started talking shit to the other team only because of not even like we're winning or losing. But I was like, you won't let me touch you because you're scared. Like, it was just like, you have to go to work tomorrow and you don't want to you don't want to tweak your ankle and you're scared of me touching you. I was just I couldn't understand. I don't know why I brought this up. But a bunch of black guys came and played football with us and helped us crush the other comedians. I got mad. I got real mad.
The last team sport I played was with my buddy Daniel and our youth pastor Mark, because it was like right my first year out of high school, and it's like we were all still hanging out together. And Mark and Daniel loved basketball, and so we went to like the local park. They had an indoor gym. And so it was like them, it was like Mark, Daniel, and somebody else, I forget who. And so they were on the team, and so I went with these two randos. And these guys were just so good that they were just like sinking. They were like laying up, and we were like winning by so ahead. They would pass me the ball. Like, yeah, no, you go ahead, take a shot. And I'm just like, okay, just airballing it, just not even. But we still won. But there's also like such a patronizing thing. Like, yeah, you got it, buddy.
That was the thing. So we won, and they're killing, they're destroying. And I'm like, well, maybe I'll go out for a pass, huh?
Yeah.
Someone throw the rock my way. And I would, like, make eye contact with the quarterback. I'm wide open because no one even thought they would pass the ball to me. So I'm wide open. I'm like, I'm right here. And then he would make eye contact with me and then turn and throw it to someone else. Yeah. So they wouldn't even they took it so seriously they couldn't even, like, give it to me on, hey, we're already ahead by, like, 2 touchdowns. I'm wide open.
Yeah.
We'll get 4 yards on the board.
They're like he's wide open, but like the guy he throws it to is like does some incredible athletic maneuver, like jumping in the air.
No, they definitely were doing that. They were definitely doing that. There's a good chance even if he would have lightly tossed it to me, I would have dropped it. It's like, come on, let me participate.
Yeah.
We were out there for 2 hours. Most of it was me going shuffle left, shuffle right, shuffle left.
Yeah. I played football in junior high, and we were not good. We had A team and B team, and coaches always said, B team doesn't mean anything bad. They're like, A team's not better, but everybody's like, A team's better.
We have gold team and poo-poo doo-doo team. They're totally different. They're not separate but equal.
7th grade, I was B team, and I was starting. I was like, hell yeah. 8th grade, I went to A team. I was like, cool.
Okay.
Not starting. I was like, I'd rather be on B team and start. Yeah. You know, I'd rather get playtime.
Show off.
And the one game my grandparents came to, because my grandma and grandpa raised me, was in Floresville, which is about 25 minutes away. And I had a doctor's appointment. So game days, we would have practice in the morning. And I had a doctor's appointment that morning. So at practice, I wasn't there. So I was on special teams for kickoff or kickoff return, you know. And so whenever they're like, oh, it's kickoff, I'm like on the field, and they're like, why is there an extra guy here? Like, what are you doing? You weren't at practice. You're not on this special team anymore. Like, all right, I guess. And so my one play was me going out and coming back in. And my grandparents drove all the way for nothing.
They couldn't even give it to you?
No, I was like, come on, man, come on. My grandma.
Nana's here. What the hell?
Yeah.
Dude, I wrestled for 2 years in high school.
See, wrestling seems cool. I wish my school had that.
So the high school I went to, we didn't have sports. So I had to go to a different school to go wrestle. Like you could, we didn't have prom. We didn't have like.
Dang.
I went to, it was Colorado Springs Early Colleges.
Yeah.
And so any dances we had, like Sadie Hawkins, it was like put on by the students.
Yeah.
Like we didn't have an official sports team. We didn't have official whatever. It was like you were there to get college credits and then leave. We literally worked in an office building for high school.
Yeah.
So I went to a different school for wrestling, and I had never wrestled before, but all my friends were on the wrestling team.
Yeah.
So like, I'll go wrestle. That seems fun. How hard can it be? And then there was no one in my weight class. So there were people heavier than me, there were people lighter than me, but there was no one in my weight class.
Yeah.
So I was immediately on varsity.
Nice.
Just getting destroyed by like the number 6 guy in the state.
Yeah.
Just getting absolutely blasted. There's nothing I can do. It was a nightmare, but there was just like, there's no one else in your weight class. You have to be on varsity. I lost 10 matches in a row before I finally won one.
Yeah.
I wept. I didn't think I cared at all. When I lost my 10th wrestling match in a row, that one hurt. That one stung.
Yeah.
But my first tournament that I finally got to wrestle JV. I finally got to do JV, wrestle guys who are ish at my level. I made it to the finals. So I'm like, oh, I'm actually good at this if I got to wrestle people who are not freak athletes. And, you know, I was like 5'11", 160, wrestling guys who are like 5'5", 160. So they're just these
muscle,
just jacked to gills. They're definitely on steroids at 17. Just freaks of nature. And then I was just tall and lanky. So when I finally got to wrestle like people of my caliber, okay, I made it to the final of this little JV tournament. And the guy I was wrestling, fingers taped up. He had like, I don't think you're allowed to do this, but he had like war paint under his eyes. He was shadow boxing in the corner. He really psyched me out. And so the only thing I did when I was wrestling varsity, because I would immediately lose, is I would just talk. I would tickle, I would giggle, I would do anything I could do. I would try and tell jokes. I would smooch. I would do anything to try and just do anything at all. I wasn't even trying to win. I was trying to last. Each match was trying to last longer than the last one. So this one, as we're wrestling, you know, and I'm so exhausted. I have no energy. I don't know how to like prepare for a wrestling because I'm losing so quickly. I've never gone long enough for it to actually matter that I have no stamina. And plus I was doing stuff like you have to cut weight. And I'm like, oh, well, soda is supposed to dehydrate you, so I'll drink a bunch of soda, and that'll help me dehydrate. It's like, no, that's I would chug V8s right before a match because I'm like, oh, yeah, it's like Popeye, all that vegetable, and then you puke V8 because you haven't digested anything. It's just sitting in your stomach. So we're on the finals, and I'm talking to this guy. I'm exhausted. I really want to win. And my parents, this is one of the first times my parents have bothered to make the drive to come see me do it. And I was just telling him, like, don't pin me in front of my mom. Dude, don't pin me in front of my mom. And that's all I wanted. All I wanted was for him to, you could tech fall me, you could do whatever, just don't pin me in front of my mom. And he pinned me in front of my mom. And as we were, like, getting off, like, he pinned me, they raised his hand, I go to shake his hand, and, like, he gave me, like, a one of these. It wasn't exactly that, but, like, we went to shake hands, and he, like, he was very flippant about it. He did not actually shake my hand. He, like, brushed my fingers and did a little spin, cool guy spin off. And it was just like, man, you won a JV tournament. You're the best out of the worst of us. And so
after he'd done that spin, I would have been like, kind of gay.
that was one thing. On the wrestling team, all the other like football players or soccer players or whatever, they would be like, "You're gay. You're on the wrestling team. You touch other guys. You're gay." Which a lot of the other wrestlers would get really upset and hurt by that. Like, no, it's cool. And I was like, "Yeah, it is. It's kind of homo." Guess what? there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
And then you grab them and you hold that guy on the ground.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I bet you're praying right now it's not as gay as you hope it is.
Yeah.
Because some bad stuff's about to happen to you.
Yeah.
But, yeah, those I just, not to be like, I came second place.
Yeah,
but it was just, you didn't get to play in front of your grandma.
Yeah.
I just please, for the love of God, don't pin me in front of my mom.
And
then he did it and then was rude about it.
Yeah.
And then was rude.
Yeah.
Pick one.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Pick one. Don't do both.
Yeah, it's like you can't humiliate me and then be an asshole.
Right.
You know, like
pick one.
Like
I asked you explicitly not to do it.
Yeah. Which, as a contrarian, I'm also just like, if somebody asks me not to do something, I'm like, I kind of want to do that thing now.
I get it. From his perspective, he's probably like, what?
But also don't be an asshole.
This is probably the first time anyone's ever talked to him during
Yeah.
wrestling before. My dad used to do taekwondo tournaments in Los Angeles, and he was a second-degree taekwondo black belt. And he was in it was like the Chuck Norris open weight, something like that.
Yeah.
And this guy beat my dad in the finals of this like tournament or whatever. And then he walked over to my dad's girlfriend and he put a hand on her and he went, I just want you to know I spanked him and put him to bed for you. And then walked off, which is like not that cool of a line.
Yeah.
It humiliated my dad. I say that to him all the time now. I am constantly saying that to him. It's such a good line.
Like, honestly, if somebody embarrassed me like that, I'd be like, well, you already won, so I might as well attack you now for real.
I might as well hit you in the head.
It doesn't count towards the tournament, but, you know, at least I got something out of it.
I don't think I could ever – I've never been in a fist fight. I did Looney's had the Colorado Springs Comedy Festival a couple months ago, and I told a joke, and a guy, like, ish in the front row stood up and said, fuck you. Fuck that joke, I'm going to fuck you up. And, like, started kind of trying to come towards me.
Yeah.
Which is wild that my technically clean, like, humor is what got him so mad.
What joke was it?
It was the School for the Deaf and the Blind.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what their mascot is? Neither do they.
Yeah.
But all I said was, do you know the School for the Deaf and the Blind? That's all I said, and that's when he, like, fired. So he fired off at the setup. But he was, like, if you've been to Looney's, there's, like, rafters on the side, and there's, like, a table that's kind of like hip height so that you can put your drinks on it. And so he was in the front row there. So there was something blocking him in the front, and then it was like a sold-out show, so he couldn't really get around anybody easily. So by the time he would have done anything, the owner and one of the bartenders came and, like, grabbed him and, like, threw him out of there and, like, beat him up, which was very cool.
Heck yeah.
It's very cool that I caused that kind of commotion. But he said, I'm going to fuck you up. And I just looked at him and went, oh, I don't think you're going to like the rest of this joke. Because, like I said, it was just the setup. And I've never really had a heckler before, and that was such an aggressive – it wasn't like, boo. It was, I'm going to attack you. And I went, I don't think you're going to like this. I don't know. I guess plug your ears. And then I fully turned my back to him.
Oh, jeez.
And continue to tell the joke. Afterwards, a lot of people were like, hey, man, next time someone threatens to fuck you up, don't fully turn your back to him. Well, all right, and cut the podcast right there. The fire or burglar, one of them's going off. Okay. Anyways.
Yeah, don't turn your back against somebody to tell you.
Yeah. So I like when it's like that guy was like you were like I would just hit him. I don't know if someone fully threatened to hit me.
Yeah.
And I have no self-defense mechanism in my body.
Dude,
I'm such a scared little boy.
I know my fight or flight response is fight if I have to, but because I always have to look for something like, oh, what am I going to use? Mic stand is definitely the best, or the stool.
That's heavy, yeah.
Yeah, or the stool, because it's like, if you're going to attack me, I'm assuming you're going to try to do as much harm as possible, so I'm going to reciprocate as much harm as I can.
You're going to cave your skull in.
Yeah, and I only know that my flight or flight response is fight, because one time I moved right back with my parents right before I moved to Las Vegas, and my dad came into my room and was like, hey, Mom says to get the shotgun. I was like, what? What do you mean? Because my dad had dementia. He's dead now. But I was like, what's this guy talking about? Yeah. And so somebody like put on my shoes. I just put on like low top Converse, and I grabbed the shotgun and I loaded. I put a bird shot in first. That way, whoever gets gets peppered up, and then I put a buckshot, so whatever it is gonna fucking kill him. You know,
you want to hurt them really bad before they die.
Yeah,
you want to make sure they're in deep pain.
In my mind, I was like, if I have to shoot a warning shot, the buckshot's gonna do lose damage to the ceiling. you know? And so I'm like, what's going on? And there's this junkie that my mom knows, because my mom's a junkie too. And this guy broke down the door. He's like fighting with my mom on the porch, and so he came. She closed the door, and he busted it down. And I like raised the gun at him, but my dad's like in his boxers, and we have like hardwood floors, and my dad's like an old Vietnam guy. And my dad doesn't know he has dementia or he can't do as much stuff as he used to.
Sure.
He's just like, my dad's like, you're attacking my old lady? And my dad goes to punch this guy, and he swings, but he loses balance. And my dad falls into the Christmas tree and knocks it down. And I'm trying not to laugh. But I'm just like, this is the most dad thing my dad could do at the moment. And so I'm like yelling at this guy. I'm just like, dude, I'll fucking kill you right now. I'll do it, I swear to God. And the guy opens up his arms. He's like, do it, shoot me. And I was like, and then he stepped outside, which I can't do anything after that because they have to be in your house.
You shoot them and then drag them back on your property.
Yeah, and then so we go try pushing him off the porch. Or he goes over. We have like this little gate on the porch. He goes over it and he's like yelling at my mom. And so he reaches over and starts like trying to hit my mom. And since I can't shoot him, I just grab the gun. I'm just like beating him in the face with the end of a shotgun. And then he comes over the little gate, and then our friend pulled up into the driveway. And he's like, oh, shit, cops, and just, like, hopped over the porch and ran off. And then, so now at least I know now, like, if I'm presented with danger, I'm going to do something. I'm not just going to, like, run away.
And
you
you
know
were
what I mean?
7 years old when this happened.
I was, like, 21, 24, 23, yeah. No, it was like 2016.
Wild.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and my buddy messaged me. He's like, dude, that was your chance to kill somebody.
That's what I was just about to say.
I was like, I know.
He put his arms open and said, kill me, and you didn't take the shot?
Yeah,
Oh,
I know.
I fantasize.
I know. I should have just cycled out of I should just, like, got rid of the bird shot and just went straight to the bug shot and just, like, got him right in the chest.
Warning shot to get rid of the bullet so that you could shoot him. No, you should have taken a life.
Yeah.
just to feel like God.
Yeah, I know, right?
Wow,
Yeah.
what a thrill.
Legally taking a life.
There's nothing better, I can't imagine.
Oh, man.
To get away with it?
Yeah. I mean, cops do it all the time, so.
That's all that comedy is. Comedy's just getting away with it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I think about that night almost every day. I'm just like, man, should have shot his ass.
I could have killed a guy.
Yeah.
I'm sure it would be really tragic and horrible. And
Yeah,
terrible.
no,
but
for sure.
I do think about that a lot. I think every night I think about whatever fist fight I might be in and what I would do.
Yeah.
But there's also like most guys do the whole thing where it's, oh, what if a school shooter came in?
Yeah.
How would I defend the classroom and also make out with the girl
Yeah.
afterwards? How would the teacher? Is the teacher going to put her hand down my pants afterwards?
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. I think about that with my house of like, I have a wife and a daughter. Like, if someone broke in, how would I?
You gotta get a gun, man.
I have one.
Oh, cool. Hell
And it's just that thought of like, if someone broke into my house, I would be fine. I don't know. I've never done it. I'm a coward. I'm like, could I shoot that guy and not feel bad about it? Because he's coming in. There's my wife. There's my daughter. You gotta go.
Yeah.
If it's them or you gotta go.
Yeah.
I'm shooting you, and I'm probably not feeling too bad about it. With that being said, I feel like what happens is, guy comes in, he breaks in, I get my gun, I confront him, I shoot him. Guess what? It's my big brother, and he forgot his keys, and he decided to come in at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Or man breaks in, I take my gun, I shoot him. It jams. I don't know what to do. He comes and stabs me in the heart as my wife watches.
Yeah.
I want to have a scenario to where, like, I'm the hero. I
Yeah.
save the day. The school shooter comes in. I save everybody. The girl kisses me. My brain won't let me. Every time it's like, and then turns out, really, you were in a coma the whole time.
Yeah.
Or, like, the school shooter you thought was actually the SWAT officer who's coming
Yeah.
to help you. Now they think you're the school shooter. Now they shoot you.
That's the thing. I always think about that too. I'm like, what if I manage to subdue the guy somehow, I kill them. I pick up the gun to, take it out the chamber, drop the mag, make sure it's safe, and the cops somehow
see with
me,
a gun in your hand
and then
and
they
a dead
shoot
person
me.
at your feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's how it's gonna be. But going back to like self-defense, like if you talk to anybody who's like knows how to their number one option is get out of that situation. They're like, run. Like Jocko Willink is like, yeah, your best form of self-defense is cardio. Run away from the situation. And that dude's killed people in war, and he's like, no, I'm running. But guys who don't know how to fight, we're like, dude, I'll kill his ass.
Yeah.
So easy.
Cowardice is going to get me further.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have – I lost my knife. I don't know where it's at. But that's why I always carry a knife on me, because like just in case.
See, that's a scare. Like, gun is at least like, the guy's, I'm here, he's there, I shoot him. Hopefully, right? You probably miss 90% of the time. You're gonna miss. You're so scared, your hand's doing this, but I shoot him. Whatever. In my mind, again, like, guy breaks into the house. I grab the knife from the kitchen. I go to stab him. Turns out this guy's been taking karate since he was 6. He gets the knife out of his hand. He cuts my throat and impales me and then hangs me with my own intestine.
Yeah.
Knife seems like it can go a lot worse than gun. Gun is like much more escalated, I guess. Because like you can get stabbed and not die.
Yeah.
It's hard to get shot and not die necessarily. But knife seems like it can go so much worse if it goes wrong. Yeah. Whereas, like, if gun goes wrong, all right, I guess I'm dead. If knife goes wrong, he's going to, like, do all kinds of cool stuff.
I, like, swing and I stab my own leg.
You're right.
But in my mind, knife, I'm just like, what? Knife is like if they manage to get in every, I'm holding it and just as much as I can, anywhere I can. You know what I mean? I'll probably get my own hand at some point.
My dad, when I was a kid, he wouldn't let me. This is when the original Assassin's Creed game came out, and I wanted it really bad. And he wouldn't let me have it because he was like, because I was telling him about it. I'm like, I want to buy it. He said no because stabbing someone in the neck and like when he holds them and talks to them while they die, he's like, that's so much more intimate than just like shooting a guy with a sniper rifle. You don't know that guy. Yeah. When you stab someone, you're watching the life leave his eyes and you're whispering in his ear. Yeah. You can feel the knife, the blood sprays in your face. Like, there's no way. That's so much worse. Yeah. And then I did this with 2 video games. I did it with Assassin's Creed, and I did it with another game called Mass Effect that I really wanted that he wouldn't let me have because he said it was too sexy. But I wrote like...
Your dad was attracted to aliens?
No, I was. I wanted to... Fox News on this game Mass Effect wrote an article on it called Sex Box. Oh, and it was about you could have full penetrative sex, which is not true at all. But for both of those games, I wrote like full persuasive essays for my parents. Like I wrote like 5-page essays for why I should have Assassin's Creed, why I should have Mass Effect. The Assassin's Creed one was like, first of all, it's historic. It's like I'm going to history class. I'm learning about ancient Italian architecture. That's cool. Like I tried to make like a plea to like logic of this is basically like school what I'm doing. And then for stabbing people, I told him, hey, I don't know if you play a lot of video games, but you can stab people in like every video game. Yeah. I've stabbed so many people. Like my mom kept it and I've read it back since as an adult. That's a wild argument to try to make to your dad of like, hey buddy, I've stabbed so many people. This is not going to be my first rodeo. Yeah. And he still was like, yeah, all right, cool. That works for me. And I got it.
Nice.
The Mass Effect one, I basically wrote like, there's worse sex scenes in James Bond, and you let me watch a lot worse on TV. Yeah. That's my argument to my parents. Is like, you've let me see worse. And he's like, he's got a great point. That's true.
One of your essay lines is like, I won't have sex with the aliens no matter how hot they are.
Dude, I did. I tried to pull that. I was like, it is a role-playing game. And as a young Christian boy, I will play the role of a virgin. Like, I was like, I will have a chastity belt in the role-playing game.
I will represent Christ through my playing.
Yeah. That was an argument I pulled. I'm like, you don't have to. It's not like a gun to your head. You got to have sex with someone. You
it's
can,
an option.
And I will never, ever. And then the instant I talked to Liara for the first time, I'm like, this is my new best girlfriend. I'm going to start painting my wife blue when I'm older.
Yeah, whenever you have to ask a girl out to the dance, like, is Liara here?
Dude, that is, some people have like fantasy of like, ooh, I want you to dress up like a nurse, or you're gonna be a cop and I'm gonna be a prisoner.
yeah.
My thing is like, what if you had tentacles growing out of your head? What if you were basically
Yeah. I will see like some cosplayers who dress up as like some like characters from like Star Wars.
Yeah, they
like
dress up like
alien.
Twi'leks.
Twi'leks, there you go. And I'm
They
just
got
like,
Lekus. They got
but-
tentacles coming out
and
of their heads.
I don't know if it's like the skin color. I'm just like, God damn it, this is hot. Like, why are you doing this to me?
My wife is a huge Star Trek fan, and that's all that original like OG Star Trek was
Yeah.
like, what if girls could be pink?
Yeah.
What if girls could be yellow?
Which-
Wouldn't that be nuts?
I will say Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, the two pink chicks compared to like the regular IMDb photos, way hotter as the pink chicks than they are in real life. You know, that's all I'm saying.
there's a I'm gonna blow it now. That's on the record, but there is a race of aliens in Star Wars, and I believe it's like Zeltrons. It starts with a Z, but it's just like girls who are pink, and they're like alien power, because like some aliens can breathe underwater, and some
Yeah.
are more connected to the Force, and some can do that. There's like, what if their alien power was they could make anybody horny? It's like, whoa! You just wrote that into the canon. You're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, what if there was a whole race of alien girls who were just hot and made you want to
Yeah,
bang them?
yeah.
Think about that. What a fantasy we live in.
Yeah. Oh man, Star Wars. It's gotten better.
I love Star Wars so much. There was speaking of which, there was a game called Star Wars Galaxies. It was like an online.
Oh, the MMO one.
Yeah.
I never played it. I wanted to.
So you could be like a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
You could just be like a tradesman.
Yeah.
Like you could just like live a life in there, but you could also you could do all kinds of stuff. And it was like only one out of every 100,000 players could be a Jedi.
Yeah.
They made it like a special thing for someone to be a
Really?
Jedi. Yeah. You couldn't do it until like if you were a soldier. You couldn't do it until you were level 20. You would get a notification that like, hey, maybe you're Force sensitive.
Yeah.
You should go to this planet. So like, no one knew if they were a Jedi until you had effectively like beaten the game.
Yeah.
But I
Because otherwise, you just have a ton of Jedis.
exactly
running
everybody's going to
everywhere.
be a Jedi. So originally it was just like a super special thing. So I wanted to find a Jedi. But you have to keep making characters and
Yeah.
hoping one of them's a Jedi, and that's expensive on the characters. There's only so many galactic credits you have.
Yeah.
So I made a character that was an entertainer, who was just a hot Twi'lek who would go to the cantinas and dance, and then I would do fake cyber sex with other dudes online. So they would give me 300,000 galactic credits so I could buy a backpack for my bounty hunter.
Yeah.
And I was like 14,
Yeah.
15. I did not know anything about sex.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh yeah, I'm so hard, but like I was a girl, so I'm like, I don't really know
The
how.
guy on the other end was like, what the other guy just say? Yeah.
I didn't know how any of it worked. There were like other girl who would proposition me as the entertainer.
Yeah.
But of course, that's just another 14-year-old boy
Yeah,
pretending to be
yeah,
a girl. And so we would have like fake lesbian, but neither of us knew
Yeah.
what lesbians do. So
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
and then I kiss your butt. Yeah. Then I kiss your butt.
Yeah.
And then they would give me 200,000 galactic
Oh,
credits, and I would
man.
go buy a speeder for my for my tradesman.
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. Well, one of the speaking of being hard, not me.
Great transition.
We had a buddy who, the nerdiest dude ever. He got a girlfriend, right? And he was trying to tell us about like what they're doing. And he started off the story like, all right, well, we were both hard, like on accident, and we never let him down for it. And we were just, dude, that whole car ride, it was like a 30-minute car. We were just laughing at him because he made the mistake of saying we were both hard. And it was literally like, man, he's still blocking me on Facebook because I
never talked to him in 15 years.
yeah, I uploaded. Somebody shared a video of this guy trying to turn Super Saiyan in real life, and I was like, "Oh, well, this is Justin," and then he blocked me.
Well, I think that's where we gotta end it.
Yeah.
I think that's where we gotta end the podcast. Is everybody getting hard? I think that's the perfect time. I gotta go open the doors and start
Oh,
seeing
yeah.
people in this show. Before we end Bubble Boy podcast, George Delgado, thank you
Yeah,
for coming
yeah,
on.
yeah.
Is there anything you want to tell people?
Oh, man.
Social media shows you got coming up.
Just my my Instagram, George Delgado Comedy. I need to start making more sketches because I'm trying to grow that. So my Instagram I'm trying to grow, so follow that because I'm tired of working a day job.
Sick. George, thanks, buddy.
Heck yeah, man.
That's Bubble Boy. I don't have a good sign off
Yeah,
yet.
yeah.
I got to figure out an outro line.